What? Ibanez is doing Telecasters now? And it's not now. They always did. Hello, Michał here. EB Register is a journey to document every Ibanez guitar ever made. Subscribe to follow me on that journey and all the adventures we have on the way. Today we're looking at Ibanez and history of the brand with the Telecasters or T-shaped guitars. Now with the introduction of the AZS series, a lot of people were like, what? Ibanez is doing Telecasters now? And it's not now. They always did. Together with AZS, Ibanez introduced a few more signature guitars. So we have a new Pia Steve Vai guitar that last year was introduced, and we have in a new color, which is Onyx Blacks, and it's fantastic. This is my favorite color of Pia so far. I think it looks the best of all of them. Previously I was a big fan of the Envy Green, but this is so much nicer. Another one is JS 2410 in Sky Blue. It's not a new model, it was previously available in Muscle Car Orange, I think. This time they kept the orange or red pickups and made the body look sky blue color. I'm not a great fan, but you know, there's gonna be people who like it, and that's cool. And this is not the last time we're gonna talk about Joe Satriani in this episode, because he used to play Telecaster with Ibanez logo. The third signature I want to mention is JBBM30. I think it's a second or even third signature that JB Brubaker has with Ibanez. It's basically RGA shape. I think it's cool. It looks kind of nice with the racing stripes. And there are two others, but we're gonna mention them at the end because they're AZS shaped. Let's go on the history of Telecaster shape with Ibanez. In the mid-70s, Ibanez was mostly doing copies of American guitars. They were doing Flying V's, Les Pauls, SGs, and they also did some Stratocasters and Telecasters, although not as many as the Gibson-shaped guitars. There were models like 2352 CT, which is black with black guard, was 2352 DX, 2352 that was like this classic Telecaster in blonde color with white pickguard. Those thin line Telecasters with humbuckers, rosewood looking Telecasters, but they were probably made of walnut or other dark wood. And there was also Seymour branded Telecaster. Seymour was another brand doing a bit more affordable guitars. But that all stopped in '78 because of so-called lawsuit, but there was never a lawsuit. The story that we should probably dig deeper in some episode. Since then, Ibanez invested in their own shape. It was start of Artist Series, Musician Series, Iceman, first Roadstars and so on. And they carry on into '80s with their own designs. Now let's move to 1987, which was like revolutionary year for Ibanez for many reasons. Roadstar series morphed into RG series. The Roadstar Pro started with three shapes that became very known guitars, like Sabre, which is today S series, Radius, that didn't continue very long, but Joe Satriani guitars are Radius shaped. And also Power, that also didn't continue, but was a very cool guitar. But there are two other guitars from the Roadstar Pro series that are not so familiar these days because they were produced only for 2 years, and they were both Telecaster shape. 580T like Turbot and 580B like Ballback. Ballback I think is called like that because the back of the guitar is rounded in a ball shape, so it's basically flat top. It looks like a Telecaster slab, but the back is very rounded. The Turbot is like thinner on top, thicker on the bottom, so similar idea like Radius, but it's not droplet shaped. It has like sharp edges. But there are both like single cut guitars that are play on Telecaster shape, so another thread in the Telecaster history with Ibanez. The next story is Joe Satriani and his custom Telecaster Ibanez. But before that, I just want to tell you that I started a Facebook group around this channel and my Instagram. So the link is below, and feel free to join us and discuss cool Ibanez models. You can see this guitar in 1993 video All Alone, and it's also visible on some like tablature covers. Ash body slab. I saw actually two colors, one that was like natural finish and one that looks like it has some kind of blonde finish. So I'm not sure if this is the same guitar that's been refinished or two separate guitars. There are no many good pictures to see that. It has tortoise shell pickguard and Ibanez neck. Has interesting pickup configuration because it has a regular Telecaster, this slanted bridge pickup, two lipstick pickup on the neck. I can imagine they can be wired the way that they act as humbuckers. And in some pictures visible that there's like Stratocaster pickup just smashed between the Telecaster bridge pickup and bridge saddles. It just like smashed inside there, so it's like four coils effectively. I found a quote on Gem site from Joe Satriani. I'm not sure how legit it is because you never know with quotes found on the internet, but I'm gonna read it because why not? I also have what I call my Ibanez Telecaster, which is my favorite telly actually. For a while Ibanez, Gary Brewer and myself were trying to come up with the ultimate new age tele-style guitar. You can hear it on Lifestyle. It's basically a piece of swamp ash carved by Dan Ransom. Gary did all the setup and the pickups are DiMarzios. I added the neck from the Ibanez JS6 and this guitar just came alive. So a few things interesting. So we know it's like ash slab, the way it looks with the natural thing. And it was made by people from Ibanez custom shop. And he also mentioned that he's put like JS6 necks on it. But JS6 had the rosewood fretboard. So I think they maybe mentioned that it's just like the same shape or something like that, but they made it like maple because I guess that's what's very classic for Telecaster. Interesting episode, but this guitar never went to serial productions, just custom made for Joe. Another example of single cut tele-like shaped guitars are FRs. They're a bit more aggressive looking and they were all in a double humbucker configuration apart from one that was humbucker and single. First one that came up was in 2008, it was FR 1612, that was Prestige guitars. 2 years later there was even J Custom, FR 8620. And in 2012 they started like production of the regular model starting with FR 320. There are multiple models with like multiple levels of price, let's say. They're really cool iron labels with like ash body, stained black, I really like them. And in 2020 they also introduced FR 800 that had beveled edges, the same way like RGD is. And for US market there was also a 7-string version of that, 800-07. It's unfortunately not available in Europe. Those are Telecaster-shaped guitar, but their like pickup configuration and everything is as far from classic Telecaster as we can see. It's more likely metal guitars. On the other hand of spectrum, we have Talmans, which are kind of Jazzmaster shaped guitar, they're kind of offset guitars, but there were multiple Talmans, especially in 2010s, that had Telecaster pickup configuration. So they had like this ashtray type of bridge, they have this kind of control plate that's similar to Telecaster and the neck pickup that's lipstick. We have another Thread, they're not maybe Telecaster shaped, but they copy a lot of from like electronic side of Telecaster. And finally we arrive at 2021 and the surprise announced from Ibanez last week with AZS. AZ, introduced in 2018 or 19, was largely successful for Ibanez, basically doing this modern Strat approach. They wanted also to Telecaster versions of this guitar and they finally did. So the shape is, it's not classic Telecaster shape, it's quite similar to FR but maybe not as aggressive. And has a few interesting design features. For example, because they wanted to do both tremolo version and the ashtray kind of version, the steel plate that has the bridge humbucker underneath is like separate from the actual bridge assembly. So you still get this tone of Telecaster that comes from this metal plate, but they can do both tremolo version and fixed bridge versions, which is pretty cool. The control panel is a bit rounded, which allows you better access, for example, to the switch. On nearly all models, there are stainless steel thread and baked maple or roasted maple necks, so very kind of modern, very stable features. They started only with Prestige, so the same like AZ. See how they sell, how they're accepted in the community. And if it goes well, they start going more like mass-produced versions. They have also custom-built Seymour Duncan pickups. Most of them have this single coil in the bridge and mini humbucker in the neck. So let's look at the models. So we have AZS 20T09, 22 frets and pickguard, H. And this is the hardtail version with the ash body. So I'm not sure if H stands for hardtail here or H stands for ash, because usually AH means ash. Very classy, and it's a 3-fade burst. And in kind of Prussian blue, which is kind of like Pelham blue maybe, with this metallic looking pickguard. Another one with AZS 2020-00, which is trimmed version, just with regular older body, painted black. no pickguard. Then we have AZS 2020-00F for flamed maple top. This is burst with tremolo and no pickguard. And we have AZS 2020-00Q for quilted maple top, and it's again tremolo, the same pickup configuration as all of them. Let's look like individual spec. Apart from like different tops and woods, everything else in these guitars is the same. They have the same pickup configuration, Magic Mini Touch neck, mini humbucker, and same with die-cut Alnico 2 Pro custom bridge pickup. Either ash or alder body, roasted maple neck, 22 stainless steel frets, 25.5 inches scale, 305 millimeters, which is 12 inches radius, super all access joint, really cool control plate, very nice modern approach to this characteristic feature of tellies. The steel pickup plate. We have either Goto F1803 fixed bridge or Goto T1802 tremolo bridge. Titanium saddles. The bridge is non-recessed, so it actually touches the body, has 5 springs, so it's like it's going to be very tight working tremolo. They come with 1046 streaks, they have bone nut, chrome hardware, also locking tuners, lumin lace on the side of the neck, another very modern feature. Alright, let's talk about 2 signatures from the AZS series, and they're like on opposite spectrum. One is Josh Smith, which is very vintage chosen guitar. It's completely different from the rest of AZS series, and Josh made a cool video, I'm gonna link it here, how he worked with Ibanez. There's a lot of details how they work it out, but basically the way like AZS or those modern version of Telecaster FLATV1 is completely none of this. It has no belly carves or cutaways. It's basically like he has a square heel joint with the plate, no super accessed neck joint or anything like that. There's like a black matching headstock with the vintage tuners. The neck is again roasted, but the frets are non-stainless steel. It has the bridge with titanium saddle, so that's pretty modern, but it's fixed bridge with that metal plate. The configuration is classic Telecaster, so 2 single coils. The pickguard is a bit different shape. He drew it himself, and Ibanez was very eager to follow him. It has poly finish, but very thin poly finish. It's the only guitar with 21 frets. The Seymour Duncans are custom FLATV1, much lower radius, 250 millimeters, so it's more like 9.5 inches. It also have lumin lace, so together with roasted neck and those titanium saddles, those are the features that are kind of more modern in the whole setup. But it's more vintage-specced AZS. So if you're looking for more like classic Telecaster, that would be that guitar. On the other hand, we have Lari Basilio's signature. Lari is a Brazilian guitar player. She was announced by Ibanez in autumn last year that she's joining their artist roster, and she played this AZ that was like sparkly diamond colored, so I was kind of thinking that maybe we're gonna have AZ in that kind of sparkly color as her signature, but turned out that, you know, they had something completely different in mind, and they used this AZS Stella shape, but the configuration is more like Strat or Superstrat. It's HSS with a kind of bridge humbucker, middle coil that's kind of like partially uncovered, Telecaster neck, kind of lipstick pickup. So it's a mix of Superstrat and Telecaster configuration. Otherwise, it has a lot of AZS features. So this super neck access joint, it has roasted maple fretboard and neck, 22 frets, stainless steel, compound radius 228 millimeters to 305 millimeters is like Goto tremolo bridge. The hardware is gold, so together with that violet color, it looks really nice and classy. Fit into purple guitar in my language of colors, and as we know, I dig purple guitars, so really, really cool guitar. So yeah, thanks for watching and follow me on this history of Ibanez and Telecasters. If you want to look at the full 2021 lineup with the models that were announced before this additional NAMM announcement, check out the last video I did, and see you in another episode.